You stand in the middle of the room, El Shakal's gaze piercing through you like a sharp blade. His hand coldly grips the cigar, then slowly extinguishes it on the wooden table. The tension in the air is so thick you can hear the beat of your own heart. Is he one of us, or is he playing both sides? El Shakal asks, his eyes never leaving you. The question is not random. The entire organization has started to doubt you. They know you helped Maria. They know you've deceived them. One's gaze suddenly flashes from the door, his face as cold as ice. You can't play both sides forever. You have to choose, either us or death. Everything falls silent for a moment. You look into one's eyes, then turn to face El Shakal. At this moment, there's no room for deception. Your decision won't just be about life and death, it will be the price you pay for losing yourself in this world of crime. In that instant, you realize you've gone too deep into this world to ever escape. Your choice will determine everything. You are a DEA agent secretly infiltrating the dangerous world of a powerful cartel. At first, all you wanted was to complete the mission and maintain your cover. But as you slowly build relationships with key figures in the group, you begin to face tough choices. Can you stay loyal to your mission, or will you be drawn into the darkness of crime? You look around, feeling the tension in the air. It's a dimly lit bar, the deep bass of the music pounding through the room, the loud laughter and chatter of those who never leave the shadows. But to you, this place is a stage, and you are the main character, though there's no director in sight. You are a DEA agent, and your mission is to infiltrate the most dangerous criminal organization in the region. Los Espectros Cartel is infamous not only for its brutality, but also for its unbreakable drug network. It all started with a tip. A reliable source had given you the name you needed to target Hector El Shakal Guzman, one of the cartel's high-ranking bosses controlling key drug trafficking routes from the Mexico border to the US. You're no rookie, but something about this moment feels different. It's as if you're standing on a fragile line where even the slightest mistake could bring everything crashing down. The first day in your role as a drug dealer feels deceptively simple. You're a newcomer, a stranger among the group, and no one knows who you really are. You must keep your secrets close and avoid revealing any weaknesses. Your job is to blend in and learn from the people around you. Right now, you're just a part of the logistics team, moving shipments, doing the menial tasks that no one notices. But these people, the cartel members, are not as simple as you thought. They're always watching, always trying to figure out whether you're one of them or a threat. Tonight, everything seems no different. You're sitting next to a tall, rugged man named Juan. He's El Shakal's right-hand man, someone with considerable influence in the group. Juan strikes up a friendly conversation, but you know this is his way of testing you, seeing if you can play the game. The conversation goes smoothly, but every question he asks seems to probe your trustworthiness. You face an important decision in that moment. Do you provide fake information to keep up your cover, or do you risk telling the truth and exposing yourself? But you did it right. You speak about your past, just a regular drug dealer trying to make money and survive. Nothing special, just a rookie in the world of crime. Juan laughs heartily, his face breaking into a satisfied smile as if he's found something in your story. This lets you breathe a sigh of relief, but at the same time a sense of unease creeps up inside you. Could this be a trap, or is Juan just testing you? After the conversation, you leave the bar and head back to your safe house. You look into the mirror, staring deep into your own eyes. You can feel the change, small but noticeable. A part of you is starting to feel comfortable in this world. You realize you've blended in, but that also means you're getting sucked deeper into the web of shady decisions and crime. The next day, you're ordered to take part in a major deal. This is your first real opportunity to prove your worth in front of El Shakal and his inner circle. Everything goes smoothly. You're handed a large shipment of drugs to deliver to the other side of the border. You take part in the transport process, all the while keeping a keen eye out for any useful intel for your mission. The feeling of deception grows stronger. You're no longer just a bystander. You've started working with these people, becoming a cog in a massive criminal machine. And as you sink deeper into the game, you begin to feel the ambiguity within yourself. In a brief moment, while looking into the eyes of one of the dealers, you catch a glimpse of a suspicion. Could he know you're lying, or is he just playing his own game? You can't answer right away. But one thing is certain. If you can't keep your cover intact, everything will end immediately. That night, you sit alone in your small room, bunnies gnawing at you. Yes, you are living in a world without absolutes. Everything can change in the blink of an eye. You ask yourself, can loyalty to your mission survive when you're beginning to feel the pull of this life despite its bloodshed and sin? Time passes and you've become accustomed to the rhythm of Los Espectros. What started as cautious steps has slowly transformed into a feeling of integration into this world. With each passing day, you learn more about the cartel's inner workings, the complex power dynamics, and the under-the-radar battles they fight to maintain control. But in the process, you begin to sense a change within yourself. You've truly become a part of them. The members of the cartel no longer see you as an outsider. Juan, who you had to be careful with when you first met, has now become a close friend, always ready to share stories and the cartel's dark secrets with you. There are moments when you sit together in the darkness, the sound of his cigar burning and the low hum of a nearby bar's music filling the air. He talks about his life, how he got involved in this world, the choices he's made, and why there's no going back. You begin to understand and sympathize with his reasons, even though you still try to hold on to your own principles. One evening, as you and Juan check a warehouse, you meet someone new, Maria. She is one of the few women in the cartel, and what catches your attention immediately is the look in her eyes filled with a silent sorrow, as if she carries an invisible burden. Maria is different from the others. She doesn't flaunt power or cruelty. On the contrary, she remains quiet, reserved. You can't help but feel sympathy for her. Slowly, you begin talking to Maria, learning about her life, the reasons that led her to join the cartel. Her story is unlike any other you've heard from the hardened criminals around you. Maria had ideals, but was swept into this world due to circumstances beyond her control. Gradually, you realize something important. You're not just facing heartless criminals, but people like you, caught in situations they couldn't escape from. Your growing empathy for Maria forces you to question your own mission. Are you really doing the right thing deceiving people like her when the core of your job is to expose people you've come to understand and sympathize with? One night, when Maria finds herself in a dangerous situation, she is kidnapped and forced to participate in a major drug deal the cartel is orchestrating. You have to make a choice. The others in the organization don't care about Maria's safety. They only see her as a tool, but you can't just turn away. Part of you wants to help her, protect her from this life of crime, but the other part knows that if you do, you'll be exposed and everything you've worked for will collapse. In the end, you decide to secretly help Maria, an act that goes against everything your mission represents. You get her out of the drug dealer's clutches, hide her in a safe place, and pretend like nothing happened. However, this action isn't without its consequences. It sets off a chain of events you can no longer control. You find yourself being dragged deeper into a network of relationships from which there's no escape, and every decision now comes with heavy consequences. The next day, Juan notices something is wrong. He confronts you directly. Are you loyal? Are you willing to sacrifice for Los Espectros? His question makes you feel like you're caught between two worlds. You know that giving the wrong answer will expose your secret, and that means certain death. But at the same time, you realize you can't continue living this lie. Can you still protect your true self, or have you already been pulled too deep into the cartel's world? Fatigue begins to weigh on you. You're no longer just a DEA agent. You've become a part of this organization, and whether you like it or not, you're losing yourself in the process. The relationships with Juan and Maria confuse you. Can you complete your mission? Can you fulfill your duty as an agent while constantly facing the growing realization that you're becoming part of this world? With each passing day, you feel more clearly that the conflict within you is not just a challenge, it's an endless internal battle. Can you maintain loyalty to justice, or will you continue drifting into a world you know is filled with darkness and sin? Time passed, and your world within Los Espectros was no longer just a facade. You were no longer simply a DEA agent, no longer an outsider observing from afar. You had become a part of this criminal whirlpool, even though every step made you feel like you were losing yourself. Your empathy for Maria, for Juan, and for the others in the cartel grew stronger by the day, leaving you with an ever-growing sense of ambiguity about your loyalty. How long had it been since you truly felt you were doing the right thing? One night, after a tense meeting between the leaders of Los Espectros, El Chacal called you into his private office. You entered feeling as if the whole world was about to expose you. El Chacal sat behind a large desk, dim light casting shadows over his face, highlighting the wrinkles and scars that marked him. He looked at you, his gaze sharp as a knife, unreadable. Is he one of us, or is he playing both sides? El Chacal said calmly, but there was a hint of suspicion in his voice. He didn't specify who he was referring to, but you knew it was you. Over the course of your time here, you had gathered valuable intel, but at the same time, you had built deeper relationships with those you once saw only as targets. There had been signs, glances, and questions that made you suspect your curve might be starting to crack. A cold shiver ran down your spine as El Chacal began to mention Maria. He knew you had helped her. He knew you had lied to him and to the organization. Your heart tightened, your hands sweating. You couldn't admit it, but you couldn't lie either. Could you tell him the truth without being destroyed? You will have to choose. El Chacal said, his voice like a hiss. Either you stand with us or you side with the traitors. At this point, you could no longer hide. You knew that if you kept your cover intact, you'd not only lose everything, but face certain death. But admitting the truth meant facing a dark, irreversible end. It was time to make a choice. The conflict within you was overwhelming. Part of you wanted to stand up against the organization, to stop this game, to help people like Maria the innocent ones caught in the criminal web. But another part of you feared the price. You had gone too deep, dragged too many into this fight. If you stepped away, everyone would lose faith in you and you'd be crushed as a traitor. No one in this organization tolerates weakness. Memories of your life before the DEA flooded back. You remembered why you joined this job in the first place, to bring justice, to defeat people like El Chacal, those who had caused so much suffering. But in this moment, the truth was you had lost your faith in justice. You had changed, and that change made you unrecognizable to yourself. El Chacal stood up and walked toward you. He said nothing more, but his gestures made it clear that everything would end in one of two ways. You would either join in his schemes, or you would be eliminated. You could no longer deny it. You could no longer serve two masters. Suddenly, in a breathless moment, a sound from outside the door jolted you from your thoughts. One stepped into the room, his gaze no longer friendly. He looked at you with a challenging expression. "You've been here too long," Juan said, his voice soft but cold. "I think it's time for you to choose not just between them and us, but between life and death." And in that moment, you realized the truth. Juan knew everything. He had seen through you long ago, and now he was playing his own game. You could no longer deceive him. You looked back at El Chacal, feeling an emptiness deep inside. You knew that if you stayed here, you would lose everything left of yourself. Your integrity, your friendships, your very life. But if you left, you could never return to this world. In the end, you made your choice. In a defining moment, you walked away from the organization, leaving everything behind. But that decision was not easy, and you knew that what you had done could never be erased. Those you had once trusted, those you had sympathized with, would now become your enemies in this fight. You had abandoned one world, but you would pay a heavy price for that choice. And in the darkness of the night, you walked away, but you could never escape the feeling that you had lost a part of yourself forever.